Hey, my name is Elese Daniel. I'm a local Cincinnati poet, and I put together this reading, which is a poem built of poems featuring some of my own work, poetry from queer poets, and poetry from poets I love, whose language I take to be queer, or whose language I took to be queer, and weaving it together with my work and the other work. So I hope you enjoy it. Staring at 5 tomatoes I've harvested from outside my apartment into Hira's old plastic pot, wind blown from the second floor fire escape, thinking about all the water Chris and I filled from the bathtub faucet and poured into the dirt for the fruit in my palm. At some point in the summer, I abandoned the garden, let stalks fall over with their weight dragging against the patio cement, leaves brushed by bodies and bags of trash collected from the upstairs neighbors. I sometimes thank the sky for remembering the effort. Chris too. But today I'm fisting 5 tomatoes with a head full of men shouting and throwing their hands about until they collide into desks or a past they've since erased, or around a voice, a truth, a woman, and questioning whether or not to squeeze. I am writing all this down in blue ink so as to remember that all words, not just some, are written in water. Someone flicks a cigarette from the upstairs window and it lands in my hair before hitting the ground. And the ice in my mug melts, leaving 3 beige ovals and the speckled bits of coffee and Baileys. Today is a simple day. I pour the watery remains into a pot of petunias near the stoop and crack my toes while some alarm goes off at the factory down the street. Old boy passes with his wet-smiled pit again, and someone on the corner is talking with Rudy, rolling a blunt. Quick nods, busy smiles, upstairs. Someone is moving in, and there's a woman in the mover's truck hollering that she's thirsty. The men ignore her request, so I bring her a glass from the kitchen. She sits with me and asks about the neighborhood, misgenders Rudy, and I say, "Seems like everyone who's comfortable here should be." Everyone on the sidewalk frowns and stares when a car passes too fast and loud, lifting the birds from the wire. You can always hear them here. I can tell you which is a cardinal song. I can tell you which cardinal is male or female, but it doesn't matter. Both are beautiful birds. We grew so strange in love and understanding, we couldn't risk talking. The word faggot means different. Any boy-shaped child who behaves away. Someone else's tenderness, revolted toward the child. The first time I remember being called that kind, mother's room, mother's mirror, mother's dress spinning, some small song grandpa said, "That boy gonna be a faggot." I didn't know what it meant, but it had to be akin to king or mighty, different, a good kind. But then I looked it up in his eyes, saw my body upside down. I did not consider the consequences of unifying my authentic self with my desires until that kiss. My mama never explained why she hated white folk, but I figured it was because English wasn't her first language, and her family migrated from northern Mexico to northern Texas just before Kennedy was assassinated. My mama ain't the kind to forget except when I came out to her. Then she pulled out her shovel and buried my admission in the same grave as her childhood memories. I kept my promise to my mother. We each maintain our sovereignty. I have never brought a woman home, much less a white girl. So now we love in silence and pretend there ain't a body buried between us. Even nature is fractured, partitioned. I want to believe in rebirth, that what comes from death is life, but I have blood from someone's father's father on my hands, and no memory of who died for me to be here. It is uncertain whether or not I exist. What do you do with a body? The space between nothing and wanting, I am aching for something. And you feel like you've done something terrible, like robbed a liquor store or swallowed pills or shoveled yourself a grave in the dirt, and you're tired. You're in a car with a beautiful boy and you're trying not to tell him that you love him. And you're trying to choke down the feeling and you're trembling, but he reaches over and he touches you like a prayer for which no words exist, and you feel your heart taking root in your body, like you've discovered something you don't even have a name for. Perhaps in time, I will also stop missing you. Not long ago, a friend came over to our house and pulled down a mug for coffee. A mug that was a gift from my mother. It's one of those mugs you can purchase online from Snapfish with a photo of your choice emblazoned on it. I was horrified when I received it. But it's the biggest mug we own, so we keep it around in case someone's in the mood for a trough of warm milk or something. Wow, my friend said, filling it up. I've never seen anything so heteronormative in my life. The photo on the mug depicts my family and me all dressed up to go to the Nutcracker at Christmas time, a ritual that was important to my mother when I was a little girl, and that we have revived with her now that there are children in my life. In the photo, I'm 7 months pregnant with what will become Iggy, wearing a high ponytail and leopard print dress. Harry and his son are wearing matching dark suits, looking dashing. We're standing in front of the mantle at my mother's house, which has monogrammed stockings hanging from it. We look happy. But what about it is the essence of heteronormativity? That my mother made a mug on a bougie service like Snapfish, that we're clearly participating or acquiescing into participating in a long tradition of families being photographed at holiday time in their holiday best. That my mother made me the mug in part to indicate that she recognizes and accepts my tribe as family. What about the fact that Harry is neither male nor female? I was a woman before the war. We took the arms of our enemies and swung them from our crotches and lived with them there until, like ticks, they grew inward and we were the first men. But we didn't want those stolen limbs anymore, and so tried by force to give them back, hoping the fists would come alive inside women and grab hold. But when we were done, the arms only hung dumbly between our tired legs, shrinking in time, a useless door handle, a hung shadow we walk upon. I stand in the dark bathroom in my tightest, shortest short shorts, my Vaseline-leaned legs, the only things catching light. I say, I'm a real bitch. 3 times, clap my hands above my head. Nothing happens. I walk back into the club, put my hand on my man's chest, and it's a paw. Silver eyelids still lit in the dimness of a ski lodge. I owe her earrings. Pink snakes squirming in the folds of my bag somewhere. I often imagine what it might feel like to kiss someone after meeting them, how they'd touch me if anything more took flight. Birds and bees. So Many Bees says a poem about love, about a couple naked in a pond, realizing the foolishness of their spontaneity and still submerging themselves. I think this is a poem about trying, about being someone can't help but look back at, even if just for a second more. What's that shining between strands of their hair? Who is that in those boots? Thanks, y'all.